Oh,
Hello and welcome to Left and
hello.
Correct.
The only podcast where both of us are left, but only
But
one
only one
of
of
us
us.
is correct.
Oh, you beat me to it.
Haha! Because I'm always correct. Today. How are you? Back from the island? I see.
It's
Yeah.
always such a letdown. I just got back today though, so I still have the glow.
Okay.
The glow of the magic island. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Yesterday was my birthday.
Yes,
And
happy
that was,
birthday.
thank you. Yeah, I can't say, like, a lot of people, I've noticed this on, like, the social media, people being like, oh, I'm celebrating a birthday in a pandemic. Never thought that this would happen. I can't say that because, for one thing, I mean, like, I am obsessed with the bubonic plague and just pandemics in general throughout my life. And my father always talked Spanish flu, and because his grandfather died during the Spanish flu, so I always knew. I'm like, wait a minute, it's been like almost like 100 years. Like we're like pandemics happen, so I'm like, we're overdue for one, and now we're in one. I'm like, I'm not surprised. I knew that this would cycle through. I just didn't expect it to be this ridiculous. In terms of how it's been handled. But a pandemic, yeah, I had that on my bingo card. But it was lovely. It was a nice, day spent inside, had ice cream cake, watched Jaws. It's great. Yeah.
A classic.
Yeah.
Did you
One
think
of
of
my
Jaws? Oh, our internet's going crazy again. You go ahead. Go.
Oh. Watching Jaws is one of my favorite movies, but particularly in the age of pandemic, it is really the allegory is absolutely perfect. Where you have this menacing thing that's out there, and people are saying like, "This is really bad, guys. Like, what are we going to do?" And Mayor Vaughn and the people of Amity are like, "Oh no, we got to keep the beaches open. No, we got we have our economy. We need this. Like you're gonna be on welfare the whole winter. If you don't get the shark and all this stuff." And it's just like, holy shit, this is who would have ever thought that, shark and pandemic, the reaction to it kind of go hand in hand.
It's very true. For years I've been going out to Fire Island and I've been telling everyone stay out of water. There are sharks in there. No one's believed me.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, I'm the Brody of this world. Okay. I've been telling people.
Does that make you Hooper or Quint?
Definitely Quint. Definitely Quint.
Oh, good. Is just swimming.
I was at your famous Princess Quint. I remember.
It's really great.
So the internet is being real wild right now. I can see your lips moving, but I don't hear you. So I'm gonna have to try. Maybe we wait a second. I don't know.
Okay, we could. It's classic left and correct. That's all.
I heard that. Okay. Well, let's just start talking about who we both came here to talk about. The surprise announcement happened just a few hours ago. Everybody knows it is Kamala.
No, her name is Kamala Harris. If anybody had been talking to me, because I am a political Nostradamus, I predicted this over a year ago. I knew that this would be a Biden-Harris ticket because I have the sight and I have the gift of politics. So it's no surprise.
I would like evidence of this prediction.
Oh, of this one specifically?
Yes.
Oh, well, for starters, Biden was always everyone's first pick before this was in 2019, before any votes and stuff. Like, the support was with Biden. It was always with Biden. So much so that he didn't even enter the race until April of 2019 because people were like, we want Biden to run. We want him to run. And then he did. And everyone's like, why is he here? But like, what? But when they had that first debate, when she called him out on the busing, I was like, there it is. That's it. That's the ticket. You know, just like, of course, because like she's not afraid of him. She's not showing deference to him. She can stick it to him. And like, you know, he'll I'm like, watch, he'll be the nominee and she'll be the VP. That's what's going to happen. And all the stuff in between, the rise and fall of Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Super Tuesday, all this stuff. It's like, and then it's like this, you know, who will Joe give the rose to of the VP picks? It's like, it's Kamala. It was always going to be her because I knew. So there you go. I just have
Okay.
that's my witchy intuition. When it comes to politics, I'm always like, aha. And I'm like, no one listened to me. Of course, I don't necessarily tell people this, but like I just know. And when I know,
I can't remember
right.
you telling me that, but maybe you did.
Well, I probably did when we were remember when we used to go to the gym together? You know.
Yeah.
Remember those days?
I remember.
Yeah. When
I do remember.
Yeah. So I might have said that then. And you probably would have went, you neoliberal, warmongering shill cop, blah, blah, blah.
It's true. It's true. I would have said that.
Yeah.
It seems a weird choice. It's interesting that you chose her coming after him as a reason for her to be chosen, because I think most people saw that as a reason that she would not be chosen. You know?
Really? No, I never saw it as that. I saw it as, you know, she's tough and she's not afraid to go after whoever, you know, to get a point across, which I think is needed in politics,
sure.
particularly up against Trump.
Well, it's like
Pence.
Biden has. Oh wow, the audio is so bad. So if I talk over you, I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't, but you didn't.
Okay. What I was going to say is, you know, one of Biden's millions of problems is his racial history. You know, being pro busing and just being, you know, an all around racist. You know, basically, cousin of the KKK. But
it's like his positions have always changed and grown, much like our country and how we view ourselves, right? And or how we would
and
like
yet
to view
he's
ourselves.
the person who created the crime bill that put everyone in jail. You know,
I mean, this was a bipartisan.
It surprises me that
your boyfriend signed it too.
That her going out.
And the thing about the crime bill, the thing about the crime bill is this whole thing of like he created the crime bill, he's the father of tough crime, like all that crap. It's mostly espoused by people who weren't even alive in the 1990s when this thing came to fruition. So they don't even like their anger towards it is removed from the reality of what was happening in politics at the time. Democrats were being bombasted by the right. The right was really starting to like really kick up and being like they're soft on crime, they're all this stuff, all this bullshit. And so like it was like very much like many people were supportive of being tough on crime. Now, how that all ended up was a friggin' shit show, of course. But like this idea that like he alone is like presented this thing and like with this malicious like intent that this was going to destroy the social fabric of society is absolute bullshit, but it's only being pushed by people who are never going to vote for him anyway, and we're never going to vote for any Democratic candidate anyway. So it's kind of, and like, you know, the magical progressive savior, Bernie Sanders, also voted for the crime bill. So it's like, you know, this was something that was supported. This wasn't something that passed by one vote. It was supported. And now here, obviously, you know, things didn't turn out necessarily the way it should have. But that's a different conversation. But it's never about that conversation. It's just about purity and just whatever nonsense. So that's my tangent about the crime bill.
Yeah, dismiss everybody's opinions. You know, people who are alive now can look at videos of Joe Biden's speeches as he spoke forcefully in the Senate of how great this was and how he wanted to lock up racial monsters because he didn't want there to be a racial jungle in existence. And on top of it, he's the one who's always saying that he's the writer of the bill. He's the one who created it,
Right.
as he does all the time in his
Because,
many pathological lies that he does. He constantly says, whenever a topic comes up, that he's the one who pushed for it. He does that perpetually. And I mean, I will absolutely agree with you that like there were many people in support of it, but at the end of the day, if a bill comes out and its effects are massively racially discriminatory, people are blamed for the effects of the bill. It's not like they're given a pass. And all those people supporting it, I mean, let's just say it primarily were white people who are also saying, like, we don't want there to be
that's
black
mostly
crack
right.
addicts running around. So the people in support of it, from the voters to the other people in power, they're racist too. So I mean, I think it's okay to hang the mantle of racism on somebody for this issue, especially when they have other issues that they supported in the same genre, is what I would say about it. So, I mean, maybe people did think what you said, that it was good for her to stand up to him.
Absolutely. I mean,
But
also, yes, it's good to stand up to people and to tell them what for. Absolutely. Like what that I think that
well,
I
but as
but
a
it's
just
also
as a
but it's
political choice, I just think what everyone assumed was you.
but I think it's also good to see, because he has been in politics for so long, to see that like he does cross generationally, where people like Kamala's Gen X technically, so like she, her life, her experience is like affected by policies and decisions, and having that come together shows unity, and then moving forward, it's I think that's a very interesting touch, where it's not just everyone's old, everyone is white, everyone is Ivy League or whatever, like you've seen in the past.
Well, Kamala has many problems
Not
herself,
really,
primarily her
though.
record as a prosecutor. What?
I said not really, though. I mean, I know that that's what the Bernie people love to push, is that like Kamala's a cop, or like Kamala alone was supposed to change the judicial system in California as AG, or that she is just driving around in a van rounding up parents or something, like creating this sort of situation that she is this monster. Like it's I don't and but
Sure. I mean, why
I
hold anyone
do.
accountable for anything they did in a position of power?
Well, see, but this is like holding someone accountable in a position of power, and it just turning into like nonsense smears that are rooted in misogynoir.
In facts
This is,
about their actions
but
when they
but
had
it,
a job.
no, but it's like how those facts are written, where it seems like, so I say like, oh, throwing away parents in prison who their kids are truant. Like, shouldn't, I mean, I don't know every single friggin' case of every single parent whose kids like were not going to school. So I can't speak to that, where it's like, actually this kid, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. But like, don't we want people to be held accountable? Don't we want that? Don't we want our kids to go to school? Don't we want, so, but it becoming, to smear anyone just to smear them, it. I
Well, I don't
think.
think that stating facts about someone's record is smearing. I mean, smears to me are when you make something up. It's a fact that she used her power to push a law to put primarily poor people of color in jail over truancy. And sure, she was an AG, she didn't create the law, but there's multiple videos of her having a good time laughing at those people who were put in jail. That's not a smear. I'm looking at a video of it right now. Like, she did
We
this.
all know
Like,
how much ultra lefties hate women who laugh. So here we go.
so rather than deal with the facts, you want to say that I'm a misogynist, and that's why I don't like it.
Well, I mean, I think I mean, you were never going to vote for anyone he would have picked anyway. I mean,
that's very true, but
right,
that has nothing to do with their gender. So I don't think calling me a misogynist over that is a good way to talk about this.
But it's like parroting talking points that are rooted in it is a big problem.
I'm not parroting talking points. I'm looking at facts and I'm saying things myself. I see what she did, and I can read articles that are pro her and against her, and I can look at her actions and I can make up my own mind whether I think that's a good person or not. From her record, I don't. I mean, I am very against anyone who had been a prosecutor. It would be very tough.
You're just against prosecutors?
Well, what I'm saying is it would be very tough for anyone who has a public record as a prosecutor to not. Are you talking? Sorry, it's being weird.
No.
Okay. What I'm saying is anyone who was a prosecutor, it'd be very hard to find someone who didn't have really twisted things in their record, because that job is a messed up job in the current American justice system.
Absolutely.
I think most people who are fighting for equal rights and all sorts of things agree that the justice system it's coming out of a place of corruption from our ancient days, corrupt against women, corrupt against every type of minority. That's right. What its framework is, and it slowly gets better. So anyone who is a prosecutor, is going to have a record.
The system is set up to, keep certain people in power and to keep others from their own liberties.
Right. Yeah. And it's also an interesting choice to take somebody as the VP at this current time when there are protests in the street. I mean, I think you could argue that the United States has been a soft version of civil unrest for like 4 or 5 months now. And this person in particular doesn't have a good record on racial justice. They just don't. And that sucks for her, but it sucks more for the people that she did stuff against. So I find that a weird thing for him to choose someone like that. But maybe it appeals to the Democrats who are for law and order. I mean, she's clearly experienced. She clearly has a very high functioning ability to run administrative systems. Being a prosecutor for such a large area, that takes a lot of skill.
I mean, she's been a senator of California for a while, and is actually one of the most progressive senators in the Senate. And
not sure that progressive. She claims that a lot. I don't know if it actually holds up.
I mean, she's been I don't know what agency it is, but she's number 2 in her progressive voting record. She's behind Markey, so, and Markey's the only reason why, he's really progressive and wrote the Green New Deal, and she's number 2. Mm-hmm. So, I know it's not.
It does make sense to take a senator from a safe state, that.
Oh, of course, yeah, because when they get in, then Newsom will just put another Democrat as senator. Yeah, oh, Trump is speaking live. We are given note that he is speaking live about what we don't know, probably about how the Spanish flu of 1917 ended World War II. That literally happened yesterday.
Sure. But, let's see if it says anything of he's talking about.
Thank you, Jesus.
Oh no, I can't watch the video while this is going on. Is he saying anything interesting though? Can we find anything quick?
Let's see.
No, I can't see anything.
Let's see. I don't know. He began the briefing with some casual xenophobia, as he always does, about the China virus. All this nonsense. But yeah.
Oh no.
What? What do you see?
No, I don't see anything. I was just saying, oh no, to you about him saying the China virus, as he never stopped saying
yeah,
it.
that's no. Yeah.
I mean, why should we even stop to talk about this idiot? It's just going to be
he is
highlight.
he is destroying our country. So, you know. But on the other hand, I know you don't believe that, but
I don't think that him alone is the one that's destroying the country.
Well, obviously not.
I mean, how many would be dead
him
if someone else was in
alone.
charge? Nobody can know. It's hypothetical.
Well, right, but literally any other person in office would not have the level of incompetence that this presidency has had. And it's absolutely absurd that you would even be like, you don't know that. Like, yes, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Even like, I loathe
No,
George
you don't.
W. Bush.
You literally don't.
I mean,
you can't know it.
No. There would have been a pandemic response team in place. There would have been a national effort. It wouldn't have been, it's a hoax. It's a, don't wear masks. Wear a mask. I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. China virus. It would have been a friggin' unified effort. But fine. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, we don't. You want to hang all the ills of our country on this one person.
I absolutely do not. I don't.
You do.
He is the spokesperson for a bullshit administration.
In your hypothetical. But even in the hypothetical, like, I think you would agree that there are Republicans that would have been worse than even him. I mean, there's libertarians exist. We both know that they're crazy people. We've talked about it many times.
Right, but
there could have been a pure libertarian candidate who said, I don't care about viruses, fix it yourself. I mean, like, that's real.
I know,
that could have been the person in charge.
But that's pretty much
what Trump defend his doing. Administration.
But that is it is what it is. He literally, it is what it is. What? I mean,
it's certainly erratic. It's beyond erratic, which is not something that can ever help with a pandemic in any way.
Right.
Right. But it just, to me, there's so many things that have to change with the government. There's so many people, both Republican and Democrat, who have to get out to make some kind of rational system. And that's yeah. So, anyways, do you think that Kamala, at the end of the day, will help Joe Biden get elected or hurt?
I think she will help. Well, she will help him in that it will, it is, as a woman who follows politics, representation matters. She is biracial. She is Indian and Black. That is important. She is young. She's popular. People like her. The attacks against her are going to be insane because Biden is not someone like people throw things at Biden. It kind of rolls off. He's not the Antifa leader. He's not this. He's not that. So it's all going to be thrown at her. And I think she's strong enough to withstand it. And I think, I think Biden will win if we have a free and fair election. Biden will not win if Trump and his cronies and the mail and all this stuff work their magic. That's what I think. That's what my Nostradamus prediction is that they will win, but they won't if, Trump does his whole
shenanigans.
It's rigged. Yeah. It's rigged, the mail, and then it gets thrown to the courts and the Supreme Court throw it back. And obviously it's heavy conservative and, and the American public are always like, well, I guess we have to listen to the results. And then they just go back to doing their thing, and, but that's my Nostradamus prediction.
Well, I think that I agree that she will help because I think that Trump was going to lose anyways. The more and more I've read stuff, I mean, of course, absolutely could be wrong, but I think that Biden is winning again just because of Trump's inept coronavirus response, which you also
I don't
agree
think
with.
it's. Yeah, I mean, that's a big one. That's like the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because the enthusiasm gap, all the polls have said, the enthusiasm for Biden is low. It's like he's a default candidate. You are right that he is liked by a large section of Democrats who care about identity politics for the exact reasons you listed. She's a woman, first woman ever given the national party ticket VP position. That's, groundbreaking. So that's a big deal. And then you have
Wait,
her
what?
mixed race
She's not the
heritage, and
first.
people will
She's
get
not the
very excited
first.
about that.
She's not the first
Isn't she the
Democratic.
first?
No, you erased Geraldine Ferraro. Come on.
Oh my God, you are right.
God.
I erased Geraldine Ferraro.
How dare you? How dare you?
What was I thinking?
You were thinking of Sarah Palin, and then you were thinking of Kamala Harris.
No, I was thinking of Shirley Chisholm.
But she ran for president.
I know. I thought the whole thing wrong. I got the whole thing wrong.
And you were just like a leftist to erase a woman.
Yeah. Why was I thinking that? I guess I put her in the president position in my mind. But anyways, I think that will give enthusiasm from that segment of voters, which is something Joe Biden lacks. So you will have the people going out there getting excited to have, because there's also, I think, a large amount of people who believe that he's not functional enough to run the country and that it was always going to be the VP who's in charge.
That's just a weird sort of thing that keeps I mean, it's
not weird.
He's old,
not,
but he's like,
I don't. You can believe he's fine,
not.
But
he's like ancient, but he's not like this person who needs to be like moved from room to room and like given a smoothie for dinner. Like, he's a functioning person. He's like,
I mean,
he's riding bikes all around freaking Delaware, and like, I mean,
you listen to anytime he talks recently?
Yes, yeah, and it sounds like he sounds old, but it's not
nonsensical. I mean, he clearly. But clearly, you don't believe he has issues. Sure, you don't believe that he has dementia issues. That's fair. But what I'm saying is that many people do believe it. Whether you personally believe it, it is an issue that affects voters. You can see it. There are a large segment of people who believe that this person has dementia. They say the same thing about Trump. There's a large amount of people who believe that Trump also has dementia. I mean, that's a factor that's there. So having someone who is so experienced in the VP position, helps assuage the fears of that group, which I think will get more people to vote for him too.
Right. But I think the dementia thing is also a big factor, is to both sides the situation, where Trump literally stands there and says incorrect information, and it's all this bizarre train of thought, and he's very short-tempered and stomps off and when he takes questions from reporters and all that kind of thing. And so it's, the media needs to have a narrative, because as it looks, it doesn't look like there's much of a narrative. So they have to create some sense of I don't know. Who's it gonna be? It's like, it was always Kamala, or like, he's fine. He just misspoke and then he corrected himself. But if you edit us, or so it's like, it's a lot of that crap, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're almost at time. I once again famously did not start the stopwatch. I never do. I never do start the stopwatch at the beginning.
Because it's just how it goes, man. We just flow.
Just flow. Just feel it out. So, yeah. Well, we look forward to seeing what happens next. Now that we know the deal.
Yeah. Now that do you think that he'll switch out Pence and put Nikki Haley on the ticket? There's rumors.
I mean, I would say no because evangelicals are just too important. You know.
But they love him anyway. Like, they've proven that they love him anyway, so it doesn't matter, you know.
It's possible, but the risk of evangelicals ever, like, the risk of Pence getting mad at him and turning against him, small possibility, but could happen. Or evangelicals saying, like, we no longer have a voice in the White House. I mean, that could make them stay home.
But they love him. They've projected all of their evangelical weirdness on Trump. He is their savior. He is literally appointed by God. And Pence, you know, he is a good little lapdog. He's not going to stir the boat. So if he knew, like, you know, and they could be blamed for the coronavirus response team because he's still technically in charge. I don't know. Although it's too close to the convention, so I don't think so. But then again, Trump is a showman and he likes to create a spectacle. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think so,
well,
but
exactly,
you know.
what you said. It would be hard for him to get rid of Pence without, because traditionally, right, when Trump fires someone, they become the enemy and the failure and the loser.
Right.
And if he did that to Pence, I could see evangelicals being like, "Excuse me, excuse me."
No, they love to be like, to, you know, double down on whatever and be like, well, he must have done something wrong. He must have not been true to his God or something. You know,
I guess that's possible.
They will justify it, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Like, who doesn't lust after their daughter, right? Am I right? Like,
Well, it is in the Bible. So, yeah. Well, I think it's a good place to shut it down. Yeah, on that note, until next time, I've been Zach Sommerfield.
And I've been Adrian Sexton.
And this is
Left and Correct.
Left and Correct.